Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Illinois Business Playbook. I have here Mr. Keith Lee from the Walking Food Group. Keith, how you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful. Well, listen, I want to kind of get to know about you and get to know about your business. But before we got started here, you told me some pretty cool news, and I kind of want to ask you a little bit about this. So, you are a keyboardist, and you have a pretty strong passion for playing music. Where did that start from?
I think that it started from the fact that I really needed an outlet to be a little bit different from other people.
Okay.
And I think that you're probably aware a lot of kids will start off and their parents will start them off on a musical instrument. But it's pretty rare that they carry that on later in life. I wanted to participate, but I wanted to participate in a different way than most people. So rather than attending recitals and doing lessons, I actually taught myself how to play the keyboard.
Nice.
I am probably one of the few people I can actually play pipe organ.
Okay.
But I really love creating music and doing things a little bit differently than perhaps other people.
Have you been in any bands before?
I have been in a bands, but actually I am involved with playing music on Sundays for my church.
Oh, that's awesome. So you are the lead organist at the church, is that correct?
No, I'm not the organist. I am the multi-keyboardist of the church.
Okay. Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's make a musical episode here, Keith. Tell me about Walking Food Group and tell me about what inspired you to start it.
So I'm going to tell you right off, I didn't start the business. What I did is I took an idea that somebody had and I developed it into a continuity. Several years ago, a friend of mine who inherited the business from his father actually approached me and he said, I'm not coming back to Chicago. I have this factory and I think I'm just going to close it down unless somebody wants to buy it. So that was kind of a hint. And I said, so why do you think I would want to buy that factory? I don't know anything about making pasta. And he very plainly and very straight out said, you're the only person I know who would be able to keep all the machines running. And so part of it was the idea of keeping a legacy going. Part of it was the idea of continuing to be a part of the neighborhood and continuing to help people out because we need workers and those workers depend on us. He didn't want to just let them all go. So after I took a look at the factory and the product it was producing, I decided that it was very worthwhile to pursue it. And so today we are the only handmade noodle factory in Chicago. And what is even more special is that our pasta is 100% natural ingredients. So there are no preservatives. The product itself, if kept in the right temperature, is going to last for about 20 years. And beyond that, we're not sure because I don't think anybody has really kept a box of it for 20 years, even though the factory was in existence for ever since the mid 70s. So, but one of the things that really made me passionate about the product was that it is so unique. And so if you're familiar with spaghetti that you're going to buy at the grocery store, you're going to find that after we cook the spaghetti and we have some stuff left over, we're going to put it into the refrigerator or we'll try to freeze it. And the next time we try to heat it up or warm it up, what we wind up with is pretty much a ball of mud. And that is very unpleasant. So what I'm going to tell you about our pasta is that you can refrigerate it, you can freeze it, and when you take it out, you can throw it back into the boiling water all over again. And after you boil it up and warm it up, you can't tell the difference between fresh cooked and that. And we've actually cycled this through. You can actually do it more than 3 times. Beyond that, I don't know because the noodles are too good.
Yeah.
So they're
Just
always gone.
right. So what sort of challenges have you faced? You're talking about kind of entering into an endeavor that you initially didn't think that you were really prepared to do so, and you can already tell how passionate you are about your product because it's such a unique product. But what sort of challenges have you found as a small business person?
Well, one of the first challenges was exactly what my friend thought I would be really great at, which is making sure the machines all run. And the machines are between 80 and 100 years old.
Gosh,
So you can't go out to the store and buy them. You can't really go pick up parts for them. And so that was a definitely a challenge. And today we have actually rebuilt most of the machines into a different format. So that was definitely one of the first challenges. The other challenge is, I think, a challenge that every business owner will struggle with, and that is staffing. How do you get people who have a little bit of experience and a little bit of wherewithal to do a good job? And I think that in the manufacturing industry, especially with food processing, what you're going to find is that there is a lot of boring work. And I'm going to tell you that as much as people may like the pasta, I personally believe that it is a kind of a boring job. So we took a different approach with our staffing, and we have told everybody who comes in to work at the factory that they should not expect to stay longer than 5 years unless they want to graduate up to a management position. I think that I would be very unhappy if I just worked that job for more than 5 years. But we encourage people to explore other options, and we've been able to keep a continuous stream of employees coming in to help us out. We provide them with a steady work flow for a while until they're ready to move on to something else.
you identified an issue and you dealt with it appropriately, Keith. I love that. I love that. How do you get the word out about this? How have you? What sort of strategies have you put in place to acquire your customer base, retain your customer base, and grow your customer base?
I will have to tell you that we're in a unique position because of the uniqueness of the product.
Sounds like it.
However, we're also in a unique position because we're only beginning to start to think about scaling up. And so we don't have any retail sales at this point in time. We're anticipating that in the future, but we are actually selling either direct to restaurants or we're selling direct to distributors. I would say that the word that getting out there is really word of mouth. The qualities of the pasta really speak for itself. And the reason why restaurants are purchasing the product is because they can actually pre-cook their pasta or their noodles, and they can, excuse me, they can let it stand in water or they could refrigerate it and it's ready to go.
Nice, nice. And how do you you're just you've gotten into this and you're really kind of reconfiguring things to try to be as effective as possible. How do you how do you see what do you see as future trends in the industry, and how do you feel that you're going to be able to adapt to those future trends?
Well, automation is going to be key. Right now, we have a very manual operation, and automation comes with its own challenges because as we move from a manual operation to an automatic operation, what we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate the human touch. But at the same time, the human touch is what provides us with the continuous quality control because you have eyes on every aspect of the product. When you introduce automation, you don't necessarily have that. And so we've been gradually changing the workflow to acquire more automation and ultimately to keep the same kind of monitoring.
Beautiful. What since you've entered into this endeavor, Keith, what's a moment of success? What's something that really stands out to you as a bright spot, something that kind of keeps you going and realize that you're doing the right thing here with the pasta?
I think it is when the customers call up and they tell me they have to have this pasta.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And are you at a point now where you realize, boy, that guy that told me to keep these machines going and everything? I'm kind of glad we had that conversation. This is right where I want to be.
Well, I am glad in many ways. Sometimes I wonder how busy it all makes me.
Sure.
It certainly has developed into an endeavor that kind of is very consistent with my overall business philosophy. And that's something which is a little bit unique because, as you know, here in America, we have the standard where we believe that if we work hard, we work long, we'll be successful. But I'm going to tell you that that's not my philosophy. I don't want to work long. I am very willing to work hard.
Sure.
But after about 2 or 3 hours, I want to stop and I want to move on to the next thing. So I don't spend that much time. We have certainly a process, and I like the idea of empowering employees. So many people like to keep eyes on their staff. We've changed the workflow in the factory to be more of a results oriented type of process. So I'm not minding exactly when my staff arrive, as long as they are consistent. And it's not a matter of do you stay and work, but it's more a matter of are we accomplishing what we need to do? So we have a goal of what we want to accomplish for the week as far as production goes. And the idea is that together, knowing on one hand what the customers are demanding, and on the other hand, what the staff is capable of, we can come to a good agreement. So right now, my staff come in kind of moderately early, not too much earlier, but certainly before 9 o'clock,
Okay.
and they are gone by about 2:30.
That's great. Beautiful. Sounds like a great place to work and a wonderful person to work for, Keith. What's the best way that people can get a hold of you? How do they find you online? How do they find you in person? What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
So we haven't had any time to put together a web page, but they can certainly reach us by email at walkingfoodgroup@gmail.com, or they can call us directly at 847-406-9087.
Beautiful. Well, Keith, thank you so much for your time today. I think I'm going to go play a little Stevie Wonder and think about you, but really appreciate your time and learning as much as we can about the Walking Food Group. So thank you so much, sir.
All right, fantastic.
Take care.